Hello, hello. All right. Liam, Fry, Gemma, how are we going? Hi from Holland. Wow. Been a long time since I've been to Holland. I'd love to go back. Hope everyone's doing well. From Melbourne. Awesome. Hmm. Um, do you remember me from Reptile Park? I was with a group of my mates and we held the shingle back. Yep, absolutely. Remember you guys for sure. How's the new snake? Yeah, both the new snakes are doing really good. They both, my snake, the pygmy python's fed about 3 times now, smashing it every time. And the Stimpson's python had its first feed 2 nights ago, and yeah, it absolutely smashed it as well. So yeah, they're both doing really good. It's been cool having snakes again. Hopefully, you guys can see this. Hopefully, you can see. There it is. The other night, having a feed. It's an awesome little snake. So yeah, more videos coming on them soon. Middle in the night, you're always welcome to stay with us. Fair enough. Newt, how you going? Just found your channel shortly after getting my first sleepy lizard pair. Found myself binge watching a lot of your vids. Extremely helpful for someone like me, brand new to the hobby. That's awesome. Glad I can help you out. It's all good fun. It's cool. And hi from Port Stevens. Nice. How's your pygmy python doing? Are they easy to care for? Yeah, it's doing great. Very easy to care for. I love that snake. It's an awesome little critter. I'm just waiting for someone to finally buy my last Boyd's Forest Dragon I have for sale, and then I'm going to convert that enclosure into one for her. I just bought a bunch of foam and stuff yesterday, and yeah, I'm going to deck it out. Nice, awesome looking background and setup for it. I can't wait to dig into that, and I might just try and move that Boyd to somewhere else so I can just start making that enclosure, because now we've just gone into lockdown for 2 weeks, so I've got a little bit more time. Hello from Hawaii. Wow, people come from all over the place. Good to hear. Yeah, so they're doing really good. I don't think I've got any videos of the pygmy eating lately. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's a crappy photo, but here's the pygmy python swallowing its meal the other day. Yeah, very easy to keep. Great little snake. Yeah, can't wait to set her up in a naturalistic setup. What's my favorite snake? Favorite snake that I currently have would be the pygmy python, because it's technically the only one I have, but I do have the stimmy as well. That's cool too, but I've always liked pygmy pythons. Otherwise, there's a lot of cool snakes. So I really like green tree pythons. Owen pellies are pretty cool. Anything different like that. Rough scale pythons are pretty epic. Hello from Alabama. Wow, people from all over today. Pennsylvania. Love the Australian accent. Where's the turtles and crocs? I've got turtles. Don't have any crocs. Not allowed to keep crocs, unfortunately. But yeah. Doesn't want to move much. Hasn't taken any food in the 4 days I've had him. Any steps to take to make sure he's all good? What was that? Was that the shingle back? Extremely lethargic. Doesn't want to move. See any food in 4 days I've had him. I wouldn't be too concerned. 4 days. Reptiles can go quite a while without food. Just check your temperatures. That's the main thing at this time of year. Most things, like all my adult animals, aren't eating. They're usually sleeping, basically in hibernation at the moment. So it's kind of what it's like this time of year. So if you're worried about that, just probably try and get your temperatures up, or at least have a good look at them, see what's going on. And for shinglebacks especially, just check that they don't have any respiratory issues, no fluids coming out of the mouth or excess fluids from the eyes, heavy breathing, anything like that, because yeah, that can progress pretty fast. Shinglebacks are definitely lazy animals, though, that's for sure. I'd love to keep a reptile. It's just we might be moving at the moment because the landowner doesn't know what they're doing with the house. Fair enough. Can be difficult in that situation. Started to use Yuki mulch from a baby bluey after you told me. He loves it. Yeah, absolutely. Some of the best cheap substrate you can get, really. These guys love it as well. This guy's about to shed. Probably today. But you can see his colours already popping through. I love these little blotchies, man. They're so good. Can't wait to get these guys outside. So how's everyone else's animals going? I imagine most people are either having to heat them more or they're brumating at the moment. It's kind of that quiet time of year where not much is happening. Got my hands on a black-headed python, and that was a dream snake. We don't see them a lot in Holland. Not eating for months, that's why I could buy it. Have any advice? She's 3 years old. And again, I don't know what the weather's like at the moment, but temperatures are obviously very important. Sometimes blackheads, I've heard, can be picky with food items, so you might need to feed it something different or do some scenting. Yeah, so try that out. Because in the wild, they're generally like reptile eaters. They'll eat other lizards and snakes and things, so they can be a bit picky sometimes with rodent prey. Tail appears quite stretched, apart from lazy, not eating, looks okay. Fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't worry too much. It's just been a few days. It starts becoming weeks, and that's the problem for lizards anyway. Are you becoming a snake man? No. I do like snakes, but I'm not getting many snakes. I've got my one pygmy python. I'm just currently looking after a Stimson's python for my girlfriend until she can set up the enclosure at her place, and then yeah, it'll just be the pygmy, I think, for now, unless a nice looking neonate green tree python comes along my path. That'll be about it, I reckon. My turtles and tortoises are outside loving life. It's the best way to keep chelonians, testudines, is outside. That awesome shell development and those natural UV rays is just awesome for turtles and tortoises. New South Wales lockdown again. Does this mean your job at the reptile park is on hold also? Yeah, so the reptile park's closed for 2 weeks throughout the whole lockdown. So yeah, got a bit of time off. So if you guys have any videos you want to see, I've got a bit more time to film some videos for once. So fire away some things you want to see. Other sleepy lizard is active and likes to bite. Well, it's a good sign. He's fit and healthy. Can you find blotched blueies in the Blue Mountains? Absolutely. I've got a video that we did a few months back now where we went down to the Blue Mountains and found some. Probably not going to find them at this time of year. It's freezing cold there at the moment. But in the warmer months, then yeah, you're likely to come across one. They're not the most common thing. I've known people that have gone many times to try and find some and come up short, but I was lucky enough to get some. So yeah, go down and have a look when the weather warms up. Hawaii is snake free. Fair enough. Also, never seen any shingleback skinks, but only saw those reptiles at a zoo where I live. Yeah, overseas shinglebacks are very rare because they only have 1 or 2, maybe 3 babies. So it's not something that's going to have a lot of numbers out there overseas. It's a good size enclosure for a Gillen's monitor. For an adult, I think I'm going to plan to do about a meter tall, maybe 80, 90 wide, and like 60 deep. But that will use all the space you give them. They're a very active little animal. So whatever works. I think it's really good to give them some height. So I'd say at least a meter high or close to that if you can. If you can't do that, then obviously make it wider. But yeah, they'll use whatever you give them. So it's 2 a.m. Why am I awake? Yeah, we've got a lot of different people here today, all over the place. Very hot for Holland, middle of heat season. Have some geckos in the freezer. Could be something to try. Wildborn Oz, g'day Cole, how are ya? Everything you do, mate. Great content. Thank you. Aussie field herping vids. Can't do much of that at the moment. I'm in lockdown. I can barely leave the house. And it's also winter, so nothing's out. It's a horrible time to try and do that. But that is something I want to try and do as the weather warms up. You ever try doing feeding videos where you show us you feeding them? Yeah, I've done a few of those before. I can do some more of them. Again, not all animals are feeding at the moment, so it'll be a bit of a shorter video, I guess. But yeah, I could do that. All right, I'll catch you later, Liam. One of my female Akis laid 8 eggs this week. Wow, that's pretty cool. Didn't know that things are producing this time of year, unless you're overseas. Do you have any thermal problems with your jungle dawns? Stacked views heat up quick. Yeah. Yeah, the T5s, as well as enclosures with jungle dawns during summer, it gets real hot on really hot days. I just won't even turn them on for the day. I might for maybe an hour or 2 in the morning, but after that, everything sort of goes off if it's really hot. Thankfully, now I've used some of the money from selling reptiles and breeding them to hook up solar panels to our house, and so on those hot days, get those solar panels cranking, and we now have an air conditioner, so we can sort of cool the whole room down quite a lot, which really helps. But yeah, it's why in summer I generally move a lot of things outside if I can, because yeah, those T5s and everything heat up so quick. That's why I'm interested in trying out the new LED UVB technologies coming soon, because I think they'll cut down on a lot of that heat, which will be really good. Got a water python. That's awesome. I love water pythons. I'd love to have that's one species would really love to have, a really nice, probably like a North Queensland type, the real high yellow belly water pythons. They're beautiful. I'm in the USA. Fair enough. Mr. Jones, how you going? Have you ever kept Woma or black-headed pythons? Not personally, but I've worked with them before. Great snakes. Absolutely love them. I didn't think much of Womas until recently, basically because I never really worked with them. But after working with them, Womas are pretty cool. I'd still probably get a blackhead over a Woma just because blackheads are a cool-looking snake. But, you know, Daspodites are a really cool genus. Do more videos with your Gillens. For sure. I'm hoping, depending on how much we can get out of the house and things, to build him his adult enclosure and get that all decked out, because I've got some prime pieces of, you know, hollow logs and things to set up an enclosure for him. So I'm really excited to see that get done. It's just, yeah, going to take a bit of time. Best time to split blue tongue siblings, so they don't inbreed or fight. Depending on species, like Easterns, I just separate now, like after like a week. You know, I might have them together just until I can sort them, and then I'll separate them as soon as possible. Otherwise, blotchies and things, I'd wait till after their second winter, I guess. So we've got maybe a year and a half old, I'd say. Because when they come out of that second winter, they're usually then big enough to breed and things. So if you don't want siblings interbreeding, then that's when I'd separate them. Blackheads, 2K here in the USA. Womas are like 500. Well, I'd be getting a Woma then. Somalia. Gotta love some Somalia. Do love scrubbies. They're pretty cool. And of course, like Boland's pythons and things. Like, so cool. Sorry, comments are coming in like crazy. See your video about using tile pointing to make fake rocks, and went to Bunnings to get all the materials, but they didn't have any at the time. So a close second for that rock look. I guess there's similar stuff, but it's probably going to cost you a lot more. So like, there's that stuff I used to use, for the mountain dragon enclosure and things, the liquid sandstone. It's essentially just like the tile pointing, but it's like double the price for half as much. So you're better off waiting till you can get some of that pointing. Or you can do like what the guys over at the Natural Herp Keeper do. They use grout for everything. So check out that channel if you haven't already, the Natural Herp Keeper, Matt Somerville and Christy Jensen. They make some really, really top-notch enclosures, and they just use grout and paint and sand, and yeah, it's mint, absolutely mint. Was tempted by Boyd's recently until I saw the price, $1,500. Damn, that's pretty bad. But I mean, that's less than I'd expect for someone overseas, man. Because I never see them overseas except for like a handful of places. So they've definitely popped up a lot more over there in the last few years. I see a lot more people working with them. So it's at least they're getting around a bit. Boyds are probably the prettiest lizard on Earth. Yeah, they're pretty cool looking. There's a lot of pretty lizards though. There's some that just blow you away. They're absolutely crazy. Would love to see more videos about DIY rock enclosure building. That's exactly what I'm hoping to do. Like I said, I've got to build that enclosure for my pygmy python. It's what I've been obsessing over lately. Yeah, so a lot of stuff in the works. I just bought a bunch of foam panels yesterday, so it's going to happen, especially in this next 2 weeks, hopefully, because we're in lockdown. Going to have a lot more time for it. Have you ever kept any Gurnea skinks? Yes, not personally, but through a few different jobs I've had. I've worked with a lot of Gurnea, and they're amazing. I absolutely love the pygmy spiny tails. They're probably my favorites. that's something I would like to keep in the future. The any of them really, just amazing. But I was eyeing off some Cunningham skinks a little while ago to put out in the pits, but I feel like they'd probably escape unless I remake them all. So yeah, one day I'll get into some Gurnea. But yeah, I just love them. If Bollins were not 10,000, I would so get one. I think everyone would. Dry lock works, and so does paint on spray foam. Both super cheap. Yeah, it just depends where you are though, because we can't get dry lock here in Australia. Otherwise, I'd probably be using that for everything. But yeah, if you're overseas in America and things, yeah, dry lock absolutely. Love reptiles, but I can't have them anymore. I fell in love with rodents. Fair enough. That is probably why I'm more of a lizard guy than a snake guy, is because I don't have to feed rodents to lizards generally. So you know, it's a bit easier like that. Tile grout, yeah, I think that's what it is. Siliconing substrate onto foam works too. It does for a while, but you'll, depending on what you're putting on, if it's just like cocoa fiber and stuff, and you're just pressing that onto silicon and foam, you'll find after a few years it almost all falls off and it looks horrible. I mean, some people have it and it works fine for a long periods of time, but I've seen so many people where it's just fallen apart over the years and it looks crap. I'd definitely rather go something a lot more solid than that. Depending on what animals you have in there too. If it's like for some little frogs or something, they're probably not going to rip it off. But for lizards and things, then yeah, I wouldn't trust it. You ever worked with carpet pythons? They seem really cool. To me, almost like a dwarf retic python. Yeah, carpets are great. I used to keep diamond pythons. Worked with jungle pythons. A couple other species, I think. Yeah, love carpets. They're great. Especially diamonds. Diamonds are some of the best snakes around, I reckon, but yeah, not many. I mean, a lot of people keep them, but I think people are more obsessed with other stuff. I don't know why. Love my carpets. Yeah, they're a good sized snake. Like, they're not small, but they're not massive, so they really fit in really well. Like lizards more, but snakes are more enjoyable to handle. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Handling a good sized snake is just wicked. Think he enjoys that lizards are in general more active. Yeah, I can see that for sure. I do like things that I can watch during the day and see them go about their day, do their thing. That's where I wouldn't mind getting something like a common tree snake or something like that. That's active during the day, because they're wicked animals, and it's a snake that's out and about doing its thing. So yeah, it's really cool. I kept finding some answers saying pine mulch is toxic for reptiles. Some say it's not. Would you happen to know? It depends on what it is. So I think untreated pine. I'm not sure, because it's the oils or something like that that's in the pine that evaporates into fumes, and those fumes can be toxic to reptiles. So I use pine shavings for my blue tongues that I'm raising up, but they've been like shaved and dried out, so there's nothing in it anymore basically, and it's totally fine for them. But I think like fresh pine and things like that are can be problematic. But I've seen people use it for some things anyway, so I don't know. If in doubt, then I say don't take the risk. But if you can see evidence where someone's used it consistently and it's working fine, then try it out, I guess. Yeah, just try and do your research on it. Found the answer to the pine question, made a video, turned into a rant. Oh, there you go. You have to check out Reptiles and Research's video on it. Yeah, I use some pine stuff, but generally, like if I wanted to use mulch or something, I'll just go with Yuki mulch. It's a lot easier, and yeah. If you think about keeping tree snakes, apparently you can feed them dog food, cat food as a staple. I have not heard that. Um, oh, sorry, tree skinks. For some reason, I'm thinking tree snakes. Yes, tree skinks, absolutely. Yeah, they love dog food. They can get obese pretty quick on it, so give them insects and things as well. Yeah, dog food, and that's good for filling some nutritional gaps every now and then. Absolutely, tree skinks are cool. Thinking of a brown tree snake, but I've heard they're quite hard to get feeding on rodents. Sometimes they can be. Um, I was literally talking to a friend yesterday who's got one, and the thing apparently just goes nuts for rodents. So it just depends on the animal. So try and find one that's feeding well on rodents, and go from there. Otherwise, yeah, you might have to get one that you'll need to convince to eat some rodents. Wish we would get Yuki mulch in the US. It would go great with all my Australian reptiles. Yeah, for sure. You guys have a wide diversity of things over there you can use, though. You guys are really established. Whereas over here, we have to just go to the hardware store and try and figure out what's going to work. It's the phenols in pine that is the issue. Things like sheet material and shavings that have been kiln dried at lower humidity, lower acidity in the wood. Most phenols are evaporated. Yeah, like I said, I use the dried pine shavings things. It's like animal bedding, and yeah, it's got none of that left in it. It's just literally dried wood. Jealous of people who can keep emerald tree skinks. There's a lot of things I'm jealous of overseas, but I think we do have one of the best reptile diversities here in Australia, and we've got some really cool stuff. I'm certainly never going to get sick of it. Having kept a few exotic things through work and stuff, it's they're cool for sure. But I mean, we are really lucky here in Australia with some of the species we have. I think we take it for granted a bit, but no, we have some amazing things here in Australia. I'm sure anyone from the US will comment and say, wow, you guys have some incredible things in Australia. I wish we could have it as well. So, yeah, I'm jealous of people who handle emerald tree skinks in Clint's reptile room here in Utah. Clint is a really cool dude, and his emerald tree skinks are to die for. Yeah, I've seen his videos on his ones. They do look like really cool things. They're kind of like the skink version of an emerald tree monitor, which is just wicked. And yeah, Clint's a really cool dude. Got to meet him a little while ago. Hung out, and yeah, hopefully one day I can get over there and see his reptile room and catch up. That'll be fun. The US, we are jealous of what you have in Australia. Yep, knew that was going to happen. Aussies want foreign stuff, and we want Aussie stuff. Yeah, it's always the way. You always want what you can't have. But I think the true enjoyment of reptile keeping is enjoying what you do have. So I think a lot of people just want the next thing and sort of forget how good they already have it. Like, I've got a Gillen's monitor. I've got some bloody high red alpine blotchies. I've got western blue tongue skinks, something you don't see very often overseas. I've got Boyd's forest dragons, another epic animal. And yeah, didn't take too much effort to get all those things. So I've got it pretty good. And I think that's where my focus is now, is doing better for the animals. I mean, that's always been my focus, but I really want to step it up even further and put all the wants and needs of the next thing, getting something better, into making better habitats and enclosures, lighting, everything. And I think that's the general direction a lot of the hobby's going in at the moment. So it's really good to see. Do you have any savannah monitors? No, illegal in Australia. I don't think any zoos even have those. Wish Australians could export captive bred reptiles. That'd be nice. Be good. We often talk about that a lot. Anyone that's here into reptiles, it'd stop a lot of issues, or definitely help prevent a lot of issues, and it'd be such a benefit to so much. But the government doesn't want to change, so it is how it is for now. From Indonesia, awesome. Everything I have now is from Australia. A man of good taste. Or woman, whatever you are, sorry, I don't know. Henry, how you going? Yes, you do have great stuff in Australia. What would your dream reptile to have from outside Australia be? Wait, what was that? What would your dream reptile to have from outside Australia? That's a hard one. I get asked that every live stream, and every live stream I say a tortoise. There we go, tortoise. I keep forgetting about that. I would have a tortoise. Absolutely love tortoises, because they are one thing we cannot have in Australia as private keepers. And who doesn't love tortoises? It's a cool collection of monitors. You should get a Savannah monitor. They're really cool. Again, can't have those here in Australia. They are illegal. Any updates on your little monitor? How does your Gillen's monitor compare with Aki's? So they just live a different life. Gillen's are a bit smaller. I'd say they're a bit more agile. They're more tree dwelling. They like living in cracks and under bark in trees, whereas Aki's are more rock dwelling animals. And so Gillen's are really good at climbing. They're almost like one of the tree monitors, but a little grey animal. Maybe not as agile as a tree monitor, but they're pretty good. They do have like a semi-prehensile tail. I see him wrap around, the branches and things up there. He's out at the moment. Let's see. He's on the back wall there, where the light is. Just chilling under the light. So he's been pretty cold lately, with all the cold weather. Yeah, that's him. He's doing good. I like the idea of not just having tons of animals, but having them in an ethical way. All my breeders are in large enclosures. Nice. That's what we like to see. You've helped me with my reptiles. That's great to hear. Hermans and Russian tortoises are amazing. Haven't worked with either of those yet, but they'd be amazing. I quite like cherry head or redfoot tortoises. I think they're pretty cool. We have leopard tortoises at work. I quite like those. Yeah, any of those small tortoises too. So cool. I'd love some pancake tortoises. I'd die for some pancake tortoises. They're so cute. I will put this thing on charge because it says it's going to die. Yeah, tortoises, man. I feel like tortoises are underrated overseas. Like, I never hear people talking about them that much, except unless you Camp Cannon or something. Parenti would be a lot of fun if they were not so dangerous. Yeah, Parentis are pretty cool.
Lights are off.
That's all right. Yeah, Parentis. They're pretty cool. Again, they're not that common here. Like, not a lot of people are breeding them. And, I mean, it's probably a good thing. Most people can't have the space for them, so... How should I keep my blue tongue? Just watch through a bunch of my videos. You'll see exactly how I do it. How old is your Gillen's? I think he's nearly 2. He might be over 2 years old now. I'm not even sure. Maybe I think he's under 2 years old, but he's approaching 2 years old. I think. I'm not sure. I'd have to check that. Here in the States, they go for about $900 each. Honestly, that's probably almost what they're going for here in Australia now. There's been a massive shortage of Gillens, and everyone's suddenly decided they want them. And so I saw one sell recently for 700, and it was gone like that. As soon as the ad went up, it was sold within like 2 minutes. So people are going mad for Gillens at the moment. So if I was overseas and I saw Gillens for 900, I'd be like, sweet, take my money. That's a good price for something that is an Australian animal. Seen a bunch of Australians handle Parentes. Yeah, for sure. I think Parentes, I mean, depending on the size and things, but I've heard they're usually quite uninclined to bite. Um, but yeah, anything with a mouth can bite, obviously. So, any things I must be aware of before I get my bobtail? Just do lots of research. You'll find out all the main things, really. Things from blue tongues cross over to bobtails, so health issues they can get. But bobtails, especially, are susceptible to humidity and respiratory infections. So keep it very dry and low humidity for the most of the time, and you'll avoid those issues. Tortoises aren't that popular here in the States because they need a lot of space. They're really popular in the southern United States where people can house them outdoors. Fair enough, fair enough. Makes sense. My dream Aussie monitor would be Brevies, though I've only seen Peter Birch work with them. There's a few people with Brevies. I don't know if they'd be my dream monitor. I'd love to keep them, try them out, but I don't know. Some people have told me that they spend a lot of time just buried underground, hiding. You don't see them that much. Yeah, I got one friend who had a lot of brevies, and he just got rid of them all because he didn't think they were that great. Yeah, I don't know. Something I would like to try out myself, but yeah, I think a dream monitor for me would be something like an emerald tree monitor. It's guaranteed to be out. It's guaranteed to be active, very interactive, and absolutely stunning. Most wild Parentes I've seen are more keen to tail whip you and run rather than bite. Yeah, that's what I've heard. My mother keeps tortoises, and she was always afraid of my snakes. Won't come over because I keep some venomous snakes. Fair enough. I think tortoises are a lot more welcoming to the general population because they're pretty cute. They're slow. They're not going to hurt you unless a big galap steps on you or something. You have to be pretty stupid to be slow enough to be stepped on by a giant tortoise. Black-footed monitors, Pilbara rock monitors, and Kimberley rock monitors are my favourite Australian monitors. Yeah, all of those are really cool. I'd love to keep some Kimbos one day. They're an expensive monitor here as well. I think they're cheaper overseas than they are here, which is crazy. Can the mullet skink be bred in Australia? Not sure which species exactly you mean. If you're talking about land mullets, then for sure. But it sounds like you might be talking about something else. People pay $5K for Bell's phase lace monitors here in the US. Depending on the bells, it's considerably cheaper here, which is nice. But again, I don't think laces are something that most people should keep. So yeah. You worked with water dragons? Yeah, absolutely. Kept and bred water dragons. Work with them all the time. They're a very common animal here in this part of the world where I live. They're awesome. I think water dragons are quite underrated as far as an animal people keep privately, and they go for like 20, 30, $40 here. People can barely even give them away half the time, I think. But yeah, if you're going for outdoor enclosures and things, water dragons are so bulletproof. One of the toughest animals, and they're an impressive lizard. I mean, they're probably the largest dragon lizard in Australia. So depending on, definitely the longest. But frillies get pretty big as well. But yeah, a big beast of a water dragon is a bloody awesome animal, that's for sure. Kiwi rock monitors go for 1K here in the US. Wow. Usually like 2K or more here in Australia. So I'd be picking up some of those if I was overseas. Land mullet. Yeah, land mullets are rarely bred, but they are bred here in Australia. You just got to find someone who's working with them. I know it's quite hard to tell the difference between male and female bobtails. What do you think is the easiest way to tell would be? It's usually head size and tail size. So males typically have a skinnier tail and a wider head, whereas females have a big round tail, more of a rounded tail, and a smaller head. But it's really difficult sometimes. I'm no expert at sexing bobtails, so that's just what I know about them. Australian water dragons get a lot bigger than I initially thought. Yeah, they can get up to like a meter long, or even bigger sometimes. They're beasts, especially males. Hi, I'm new. Well, welcome. I might finish up here in a minute, guys. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, I'm in lockdown now, so I can have more time for videos. So let me know anything you want to see. Wouldn't make it outdoor pen enclosure for my shingleback pair. What size would you recommend as the bare minimum? Bare minimum, probably 1200 by 600. Ideally bigger. Have you kept children's pythons? They're on my list of reptiles I want to keep. Yeah, for sure. I technically have a children's python right now, depending on who you ask. It's a Stimson's python, but they just got lumped together as the same species. So I technically have a children's python, I guess. Yeah, they're really easy to keep and awesome little snakes. I love all the Antaresia. They're really good. Looking forward to your pygmy enclosure vid. Take care, Coop. Thank you. Head Stimsons are hard to keep because you have to force feed as babies. Yeah, all Antaresia I've been known to be difficult to start if you're breeding them as little babies, just because they're so small. They're typically lizard feeders and things in the wild. So, but once they get started and are established, I mean, you shouldn't be buying an animal off a breeder if it's not an established animal feeding on rodents. So, generally, by the time you buy it, it should be good to go, and you shouldn't have any worries from there. Remember Clint saying in one of his videos, driving in Sydney was a nightmare. Yeah, sounds about right. I don't like driving in Sydney. I try to avoid that as much as possible. Got a pygmy banded. Nice. When will someone do a proper tax on them? I have no idea. I want to... Righto. The road going forward was on the right. All right, well, I'd be on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, I can't imagine going overseas and driving on the opposite side of the road. It sounds so strange, but yeah, I feel like you'd get used to it pretty quick though. Or you'd just be stopped driving very fast. Yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate all the comments and everything. Make sure you check out some of my recent videos, some of the builds and things, because I'm going to be elaborating on those further with some future builds for the snake and everything. So yeah, get excited for that. Otherwise, on any of my videos or on my Facebook page, leave any comments of videos you'd like to see in the next few weeks, as I will probably have more time to film at the moment. And yeah, I'm keen to do something during this lockdown. So keen to put out some more content. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see you all next time, and have a good one.